You don't lose longevity all at once. You lose it in thousands of unregulated days. The habits that made you successful, they quietly shortening your longevity. So when you're pushing through, outworking everyone, ignoring tension, overriding fatigue, that is discipline your brain reads as chronic stress. And when the brain reads chronic stress, it senses uncertainty and it prioritizes protection over performance. So don't be surprised if you can't perform as well, if your muscles are tight, if you're sleeping crappy, if your inflammation is higher, if you're recovering slower, if you are not as patient as you used to be, you have lower adaptability. And that's not usually a dramatic collapse, it's a gradual decline. And here's the part what most people miss. The problem is not your drive. It's not your mindset. It's your nervous system never fully settles. If it never settles, it never fully recovers. But when you change how the brain interprets that effort, you don't have to push less. You change the input that drives the output. And when the input improves, performance becomes sustainable. And that is the Neuro HP method. Welcome, I'm Heike Fallon. I'm the founder of Expand Health and creator of the Neuro HP Method. And I'm going to talk about that today. I combine neuroscience, sports therapy, personal performance coaching to help people who are not willing to be limited. I help them optimize their health, personal performance for longevity. And, it's basically the better you move, the better you feel, the better you live, and all is better. For 30 years, I've studied the brain and body and their connection. And today I want to share and go deeper into something that's not just surface wellness. It's not hacks. What I'm doing is I'm going to break down the Neuro HP method. It's all about the brain, the body, our environment or space that we're living in, and self, like how we identify ourselves. So, and more importantly, they all depend on each other. So because it's really important, you cannot optimize one without influencing all. So longevity is systemic, performance is systemic, your brain is the absolute organizer of everything else. So before we go into it, make sure though you grab the free PDF guide. Below in the description is a link to download that. So check that out and let's get started. Go deep. So the brain regulates everything. I know, sounds simple, but it's a very complex process. Your nervous system is constantly predicting. It predicts safety, effort, pain, the energy you use, your recovering speed, your emotional response. And a lot of people don't realize this, but pain is not a tissue problem. Fatigue is not just an effort challenge. Stress is not just workload. They are all interpretations by the brain. Here's what I mean. If your brain perceives an overload, it increases protection. Protection means muscle tension, energy is conserved, inflammation signals go up, cognitive capabilities narrowed, your sleep is disrupted, and that's physiology, not your mindset. So this is what is really important to understand. Most people try to outwork and the protective system, but protection is organized centrally, and if your brain believes something is unsafe, it would absolutely not increase performance, because why would it be, right? It's reducing the output, and the reduction over years looks like aging. And that's just how the brain functions and actually regulates. And that regulation can be trained. That's the cool part, right? So now let's talk about the body first. Movement is not mechanical, it's neurological. Every joint, when we move it, is actually a map in your brain. Every muscle contraction is coordinated through sensory feedback. Your vision, your inner ear, proprioception, that's where we are in space, breathing, interoception, so your inner information. When all those inputs are very clear, movement feels way more efficient. And when they're kind of not good quality and quantity, your system compensates. Compensation increases effort, effort increases stress chemistry, so neurochemicals being released, and that increases protection. Protection reduces adaptability, and adaptability is what you need for longevity. So here's a real example. Clients train consistently, strong, disciplined, but their neck tension just never goes away. So when I address that with them, we don't start doing the stretching. We're actually assessing their visual system first, and see how their screen exposure is, how their depth perception is, how their eye tracking is. And we train input, and boom, neck tension reduces. Why? Because we change the signals driving the output. So you change the input, that drives the output. That's the Neuro HP method. So let's dig even deeper into the visual system. The visual system consumes enormous amount of energy, up to 30% of cortical processing. That's a lot, just the eyes, right? If vision is under strain because it's not functioning as well, the brain elevates protection. Forward posture is the output, jaw tension, your sympathetic system is overwhelmed, and if this happens over decades, it becomes chronic tension patterns. And that reduces spinal mobility. Your stress baseline goes up. And it's really important because your eyes influence your nervous system more than most people realize. And we're going to do one really cool exercise right now. So what I want you to do is stand with your feet hip width apart, or actually you can do it seated too. Depends on what situation you're in right now. But first let's check the neck and see if there's any tightness, right? So mine is a little tight this way. So instead of now stretching, we're going to do an eye exercise, okay? What I want you to do is you're going to use both your thumbs, hold them in front, right in front of your eyes, and relax your shoulders. Make sure you keep breathing, tall spine, and you're going to keep looking at the thumbs, but you're going to start moving one thumb to the side, but you keep your eyes on the other one. So do not move your eyes. Eyes stay here as you move the other thumb out. Good. And then recheck your neck. Ooh, that was better for me. Now we're going to do the other side. So again, your thumbs are crossing over in front of you. Your eyes are right on your thumbs. Doesn't matter which one is in front, but you're going to move one thumb now to the other side while your eyes stay on this centered thumb. So here we go. We're going to move and bring it back. Eyes do not move. Don't let your eyes move. Make sure you're breathing. One more time. Good. And reassess. Definitely helped my neck. What we trained here is inhibitory control. So your brain learns to reduce reflexive response. When inhibitory control improves, emotional regulation improves, attention improves, neck tension reduces, stress tolerance increases, and this is brain-based movement. Small drill, huge integration. Now, let's jump to the vestibular system, your inner ear. Your inner ear detects movement and head position. It stabilizes your vision. It regulates your posture. Yes, if your vestibular system is doing well, your posture might not be good. It influences autonomic tone. And if the visual processing in general is not good, you might also feel on edge. You might be your shoulders elevated. Your breathing is more shallow. Your recovery decreases. And a lot of active adults don't realize balance is not fitness. Balance is regulation. And if your balance system is weak, your nervous system stays in protective mode. Protection costs energy. Energy is mismanagement. And energy mismanaged shortens your health span. Let's do another exercise, and I like this one. It's in my daily repertoire that I like to use. And all we're going to do is activate the vestibular system by just looking at a target. I'm going to use my camera. Again, you might change and assess with your neck. You can do other assessments as well, but all we're going to do is look straight ahead. I'm going to move the head up and down, keeping the eyes on the target. And side to side. Good. And that activated actually different canals in your vestibular system. You want to make sure that you practice these exercises when you feel good, not only during pain or when it's tight, but you want to kind of think more long term. Like I said, it's a daily practice of mine to do these really quick. Doesn't take much time, right? Now let's jump from the body to the space component, your environment, right? It's all about your environment and the space you live in. Your brain never experiences any neutral space. There's always exposure. The light right now, the noise outside, temperatures, how much clutter you use in your office, all of that gets processed all the time. And the brain interprets that, and if you have screens, LED lights at night, that can influence your melatonin production, which can influence your sleep. If your workspace is chaotic, that absolutely can increase your cognitive function. And if the space is not calming your nervous system down, you may actually unconsciously creating a stress response from your system 24/7. So space shapes brain regulation. Brain regulation shapes body physiology. Body physiology shapes performance. Performance shapes identity. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes space. It's a loop. And best to break the loop is at the input level. And like I said, that's why we're training with a brain-based approach. Now, last component of everything is the self, the identity as a biology self. And this is not abstract. Identity influences physiology. So if your identity is I push through, your brain overrides fatigue. If your identity is I must always perform at my highest level, your system resists rest. That resistance is physiological. And self-leadership means aligning identity with sustainability, not intensity alone. So true confidence is not pushing harder, it's knowing when to regulate, and that's the 1% thinking. Now let's do an exercise, one of my most favorite ones. Again, stand nice and tall or sit. This one you might want to do seated as well, but I want you to close your eyes and take a moment to just do a few breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through your mouth. Now I want you to think of 3 adjectives that describe you, your best self, and how you want to feel. If you show up like that, that's what makes you feel absolutely aligned, content, and feeling super good and energetic. So 3 adjectives that describe the best self, your best self. Make sure you focus on the breathing. Now, when you have your 3 adjectives that describe the best self of you, open up your eyes, take a piece of paper, write them down. And then I would like you to think of each one of them, why they're important to you. And then you're going to write down on the paper why it is important for you to, for example, be supportive or kind or driven or what passionate, whatever your words are, you're going to write out why it's important to you. And then you're going to put those 3 words either on a post-it or in your phone, somewhere where you remind yourself of these 3 words so that you can show up every day as your best self, knowing that these are the 3 words that you're showing up with. So take a little extra time after the video to go deeper, but this is one of my very most favorite exercises to do to stay really more focused and aligned with yourself. Now let's get back to the NeuroHP method And because it's something that I designed, because it's an integrated model, because as I said, it's all a circle, right? The brain influences the body feeds the brain, the space shapes the brain interprets the space. Self directs behaviors alters the space. So they're all dependent, and you cannot, stretch away the stress pattern. You cannot outwork a dysregulated system, and you cannot supplement a nervous system that feels unsafe. It doesn't matter how many supplements you take, but you can train integration, and that's what the Neuro HP method is all about. It's a holistic self-leadership, it's brain-based movement, it's environmental optimization, and aligning identity, and all those need to be sustainable. So that's what makes this one in the 1% category. We don't chase symptoms, we assess input, we don't guess, we test vision, vestibular, breathing, mobility, stress load, the environment, our thinking patterns, and then we customize. That's performance longevity. That's why my clients don't just feel better, they feel more confident, build capacity for decades. And if you take one thing away today, remember this: longevity is not about doing more, it's about organizing better. You change the input, that drives the output. And when the input is very clear, good data, good quality, your brain reduces protection. And when protection decreases, performance expands, and you have absolutely created a sustainable process. With that said, if you love this video, if you love the content, share with anyone that you think may benefit from this. I constantly upload new science-based content, so follow along to the exercise, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out. I'm Heike Fallon. I'm happy you watched all the way to the end. Start investing in yourself today because you deserve it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.